fish, we're talking about the gnathostomes, those fish that have a jaw. Osteichthyes, you saw ichthyes before because chondrichthyes. In fact, if you wanted to become a fish biologist, you would become an ichthyologist. That's the name, or study ichthyology. So these are the bony fish. There are 3 groups of bony fish. The first one is what is referred to as the lobe-finned fish. And these have bony structures down in their limbs, their fins. So fins with bony structures that are kind of like legs. And an example of this is a coelacanth. This is a very rare fish, coelacanth. In fact, they thought they were extinct until relatively recently. This is an example. So notice that their fins look thick and fleshy. They are lobe-finned fish. The next group are what are referred to as the lungfish. They are in a group called dipnoi. They are also relatively rare. These use a swim bladder to breathe. Okay, so that is significant. When we talk about a swim bladder, you might see on your trees, your phylogenetic trees, something that is called a lung derivative. You'll remember that chondrichthyes do not have swim bladders. So the bony fish, one of their characteristics is they have a swim bladder. Even the lobe-finned fish have swim bladders, they just can't use it to breathe air. This is an out pocket of the pharynx. That is like the back of the throat. This is useful in that it allows for buoyancy. So you might see fish sleeping, right? And they're just like, they're in one place in the water column. So even without swimming, they can stay buoyant. And so it's like they can add air to their swim bladder and become more buoyant, or they can take it out and become less buoyant and sink lower. And so they can kind of stay in one place. I would say that's a pretty amazing adaptation, okay, that happened with the bony fish. The jawless fish and the chondrichthyes do not have a swim bladder. The last group is called the ray-finned fish. And these are the ones that you think of when you think of fish. These are the bony fish. These are the most common, and they are called Actinopterygii. If I can spell it, pterygii. That is the group that they are in. And so this would be sturgeon. This is salmon. Okay. This would be like a seahorse. Those are weird looking creatures. Okay. This would also be like sardines, little small little fish. Okay. This is also catfish. This is important because if you've ever lived down south, one of the things that's really weird is that when it rains and there's lots of puddles and there's lots of like water running down the road or in your yard, you will see catfish walking, and they actually can walk with their fins. And they are not lungfish, but they can, I guess they can stay out of the water for long enough that they can use their ability to walk from one stream to another to get to a different place, right? So catfish walking, it's a strange southern thing, okay? So these are the ray-finned fish. That is the most abundant. These are super diverse, super diverse group of organisms.